Hello, academic class of 2020, and welcome to the most agonizing 36 weeks of your life. Even more if you make it onto the actual team. I'm here to break down the Goliath of classic literature that is Frankenstein. Now, most of you 3-week tryhards will buy a copy of the book, highlight 1 or 2 lines, but ultimately rely on your ability to skim SparkNotes to pass the series of tests you need to get the grade. But that's too disrespectful on my main Mrs. Shelley. So, let's break down Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, starting now. To understand the book, we must first understand the author, my homegirl Mary Shelley. Sis was all about free thought for women, her mother being the equally amazing and prolific Mary Wollstonecraft. You know, the author of A Vindication of Women. If you don't remember this from AP Euro, you have failed, Mr. Austen. Both women were significant in the advocacy of women's rights and empowerment and have a very deep place in my heart, goddammit. One stormy night, her and her friends were telling ghost stories and thus became the birth of Frankenstein. Pause. You hear that? She birthed Frankenstein. That came from her mind. I pause here because Mary Shelley's name was not on the original work. Her husband's name, Percy Shelley, was in it instead because men can't handle women creators. Historians and aristocrats of the time couldn't handle that she was better than them.
Inconceivable!
A woman created science fiction. Anyway, so we're pretty familiar with the actual story of Frankenstein, aka the modern Prometheus. Prometheus was the Greek titan whose punishment was to be bound to a rock and have his liver eaten out every day by an eagle for giving man fire from Olympus. Published in January of 1818, the Gothic novel set in England stars Dr. Victor Frankenstein trying to create life and ends up creating a monster. The creature is his rightful name, not Frankenstein, and he is ultimately shunned by humanity. And by humanity, Shelley means a blind old man's children in the middle of a forest. The creature seeks revenge on his creator for having made him at all, because a lonely existence isn't really an existence at all. But there are more to these TV trope characters. The story is told in a wide range of narratives. The first opens with a captain rescuing the emaciated Victor Frankenstein, who is in pursuit of Frankenstein, or the creature. Victor then starts his narrative in remembering everything while recovering from his fragile state, and thus begins the story. He was born in Italy and was basically the weird kid of the family, studying weird scientific theories. We stand a good foreshadowing. His mother dies. He buries his weird boy grief in creating life, thus the creature. But we all know how it turns out. No, not the green bolts attached to his face. Instead, he is 8 feet tall, yellow with visible blood vessels popping from his skin, and watery white eyes. He leaves and drags his best friend Henry to see what he's created and basically poke it with the stick. Then, Victor's brother dies, and he stops his childhood nanny from being killed, and after being utterly tired of life in the world around him, he tries to flee to the mountains to become a lonely hermit. The creature's narrative then picks up and becomes the longest extended metaphor in the women condition in society. The creature does not moan or mumble incoherently. He is smart and actually produces coherent sentences. He runs away to the woods, meeting a blind man who sees him for his personality's beauty, but is chased away by the blind man's children for being ugly. The creature is then overcome with emotion and despises his existence and having to fit a certain image for people to accept him. This is the allegorical masterpiece Shelley creates within the literary allusion to the female human condition. The creature, like a human being, longs for recognition that is repeatedly denied to him on the account of his appearance. Women who did not conform to high society standards fell victim to one of 2 fates. They lived and died alone, or became the town's quote-unquote witch. The monster is in reference to women and how they must play a part to be accepted into society, and if not, they will forever be rejected. It is not unlikely that Shelley saw many women around her, as well as her own pressure from society, whittle away into nothing because of this rejection, probably becoming a more moral cause to her book's central themes of accepting others and its larger meaning of accepting women just as they are. Anyway, The creature finds Victor, accosts him for bringing him to life like a modern millennial, and demands Victor make him a girlfriend, a quote-unquote companion, so they can both be ugly and shunned by society together, because we love a good romance. He promises to disappear to South America with her, and should Victor deny him, he shall kill the rest of his family. Victor then descends into a moral conundrum like, what if the woman wants rights? What if she becomes more powerful than the creature? What if she threatens to kill me? And he ruins his work. He flees to Ireland to marry a girl named Elizabeth, and the creature kills her while Victor is out of the room. Fast forward to the end, the beginning of the book, and the captain is hearing all of this being told to him by Victor. Victor dies on the ship, his last words being, "Happiness is tranquility and avoid ambition." Basically, ignorance is bliss when society doesn't hate you. The creature finds the captain and tells him Victor's death has not granted him peace, and he floats into the northern ice never to be seen again. This is a brief synopsis of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, by me, for the final. The end!